Anyway, Jason, let's look at the Marble Champions, the card game unboxing for the Green Goblin scenario packs. This is the first scenario pack. You can check out my other videos. I have done like the core set, and I've done a bunch of the hero packs. You can see the different heroes you can add in. This is the first scenario pack they added. So if you're getting tired of fighting the Rhino, Claw, and Ultron, you can go out and buy this, and you can fight off against Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. So not only is it going to add a new villain to fight, it is also going to add... We got two little decks here. It's also going to add some extra schemes and stuff. So we got a couple of different things here. And we'll look at them when we get... Well, look at those. Let's look at this little booklet they gave me. I didn't get a poster, unfortunately. Now I'm kind of disappointed. I've gotten posters with all the hero packs, and I just realized I don't have posters for all the main characters. Because I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like hang all the posters up, but then if you're not going to get a poster for every single thing. This is an expansion symbol, which I didn't look at the last couple. Just saying how to use it, modular, things like that. So here's just talking about what the scenarios are. Some new rules, so villains that can change form. And different things there. Just explaining some of the different other strategies. Alright, we're not going to get too much of that. Let's hop into these decks. If I can ever figure out how to open these. Yes, it's also, like, so besides being able to buy different heroes and play stuff, they're also going to release more villains you can play. So that makes the game definitely more fun. But then it's also the modular, like, side schemes you can add. So, like, good examples, like in the core set, you could play as Rhino, and there are 5 modular sets that you could add in there. So you could play the Rhino 5 times with it's not going to be a lot because there's only 5 different cards, but you could add that different modular side schemes in there, change it up just a little. And I'm assuming you can probably make the game, I don't know if it's more or less challenging, because you could add like maybe 2 side schemes in there. And I say I'm not sure if it's more or less challenging because you'd think more cards would make it more challenging. But it also means that you're drawing the actual villains cards less. So if I was playing Rhino and I had 2 side schemes, yeah, I have more side schemes to deal with, like in like 5 more cards or whatever, 4 or 5 more cards. But also it's 4 or 5 less cards it's going to take for me to get to fighting Rhino stuff. So, you know, interesting. Alright, so here we have the first set. This one's called Risky Business. Which I'd normally say like Rhino or Claw. This one's called Risky Business instead of just Green Goblin, because there's multiple Green Goblins in this set. Here we have his hit points of 14. I'm actually going to set the rest of the pile down for a moment. So we have Goblin. New keyword. When revealed, deal 3 indirect damage to each player in hero form. I'm not specifically sure why it says indirect. And then Sports Interrupt. When Green Goblin would scheme, remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness instead. And then he actually flips over and he has a Norman Osborn side, so he kind of works like a hero in that sense. So he still has 14 hit points. And now he's a businessman and a genius. Sports Interrupt. When Norman Osborn would attack, place 1 infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise instead. Force Interrupt. When Norman Osborn would take any amount of damage, remove that many infamy counters from Criminal Enterprise. So basically, when he's attacked, you add counters to this card, When he takes damage, you remove them. And then the goblins the same way is when you would scheme, you remove counters from this instead. So normally I would just jump right into those, but I want to find... see if I can find those cards quick. Here it is. I just want to look at that so we have some idea of what we're talking about. So this is an environment card. So like the Ultron drone card sits out in the middle of the field. So we have State of Madness. State of Madness anchored plays with 2 Madness per player counters on it. If there are no Madness counters here, you flip Goblin in State of Mind. So every time I'm playing Goblin, when Goblin scheme, I remove 1 Madness counter from this instead. So basically, as he's scheming, I'm removing counters from this. So he's becoming less and less mad. That's what it sounds like. Then you flip this over, and we have Criminal Enterprise. So Criminal Enterprise anchor plays with 2 infamy counters on it. If there are no infamy counters, you flip Norman Osborn. So this one is all basically about, it's supposed to be the idea of this set, Risky Businesses. You are supposed to be playing against Norman Osborn, who occasionally slips into madness as the Green Goblin. So when he's Green Goblin, he can do a bunch of attack. But if he has to scheme, he's going to slowly become less mad. But as long as he can attack, and Norman Osborn is the exact opposite way. Is he can scheme heavier, but he doesn't want to attack. But the reason why he would attack is when he attacks, he puts 1 infamy counter on him. So you've got to keep attacking occasionally to keep your counters on here. Otherwise, he slips into Green Goblin form, and then you can't scheme. So Norman Osborn would take any more damage, move that many infamy counters from it. So yeah, it's an interesting back and forth. So like where the hero and villain, normally you have to decide, do I want to be a hero and take damage, or do I want to be a villain and work on the scheme? This villain's going to work basically the same way. If you're Norman Osborn, kind of like the alter ego form, you're doing the scheming, but then you have to play it back and forth. Alright, so that's kind of cool. So then we got his level 2, gets him 4 attack, he goes 4 indirect damage, and you still remove 1 card, but now he's up to 18 health. And then he still has 2 scheming. You place 2 infamy counters, and when he takes damage, you remove them. And then we have Green Goblin 3. Deals 4 damage, and you remove 2 Madness counters instead. So basically, he's gonna get less madness a lot quicker. But when he would attack, you can place 3 counters on there, and you remove them. So that's, he has 3 scheming there. So that's, Green Goblin. That's an interesting way to play a villain. We have Hostile Takeover, main scheme. Norman Osborn holds a board meeting plotting to take over a branch of Stark Industries. When completed, place 1 per player infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. So if this gets completed, he stays as Norman Osborn a lot longer. Then discard 1 card from each player's deck for each infamy counter on there. Oh boy, that could really hurt. It starts with 2 per player, and every turn it gains 1 per player. So it can end pretty fast. Let's look on the other side here. Start Norman Osborn, Risky Business, and it recommends Goblin gimmicks. Place a Criminal Enterprise environment into play. And then we have Corporate Accusation. So main scheme 2. If Norman Osborn succeeds, nothing will stand in the way of his technological domination. If the stage completes, lose the game. This is only a 2-stager. When the branch of Stark Industries under his control, Norman Osborn will gain access to deadly technologies and quadruple the manufacturing capabilities of Oscorp. When revealed, advance to stage 2. Alright, now let's look at the other cards. We have a hired gun minion. He's just a criminal, but he also has 2 thwarts and a boost. When revealed, choose either to give a villain 1 face down boost card or place 2 infamy counters on the Enterprise. Interesting, so you kind of gotta decide which is your lesser of the 2 evils. Or maybe if Criminal Enterprise isn't available, you don't have a choice. Boost, place 1 infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise. If you cannot, remove 1 Madness counter from State of Madness. So he works really well with that. Private Security Specialist, Mercenary, Guard, and Boost. You can place 1 infamy counter. If not, remove 1 Madness. So we're going to have a bunch of those. You get 4 of those guys to fight. We have a couple of side schemes to deal with. A Collapsing Bridge. Place 1 infamy counter. If you cannot, remove 1 Madness, and you cannot do anything until you defeat this. Oscorp Manufacturing. Complete objections from shareholders. Despite objections from shareholders, Oscorp is now exclusively produces military-grade weaponry. When revealed, Norman Osborn, placing an additional threat here. So if Norman's up, you get an additional threat. 1 per player. We have another one, which has 2 per player. You got the same one. It's the same card. You get 2 of them. We have a payoff side scheme. Boost, place 1 infamy on criminal or remove 1 madness. Got a lot of extra little side schemes to deal with. We have a treachery, all in a day's work. When revealed, place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprise. If you cannot, remove 2 madness counters from State of Madness. Boost, place 1 infamy counter on there, remove 1 madness. We got 4 of those. We have Mad Genius. When revealed, if you're the Green Goblin, Green Goblin attacks the hero with the fewest hit points remaining. If no attack was made this way, this card gains Surge. Norman Osborn, discard the top card of your deck for each infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise. We're back to the main scheme. So, it looks like Green Goblin, Norman Osborn's whole thing, his whole deal here is, he's gonna focus on his scheme, and he's not really much of an attacker. Versus like Rhino, who is a heavy attacker, or Ultron, who's all about bringing out drones. Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna work on my scheme, but like, if you mess up my scheme enough, I'm gonna go mad, become the Green Goblin, and I'm gonna come after you for like a turn or 2, and then I'm gonna go back to sanity, work on my business ventures again. So here we have the other one. We have Mutagenic Formula. So this one is Green Goblin. Oh, the rest are in the other pack. I'll have to open that one. So this one we're actually fighting against Green Goblin. So we have Force Response. After Green Goblin attacks and it damages you, place 1 threat on the main scheme. So you flip this one over, it has the purple backer. So yeah, he attacks you, damages you, he places threats. This one we're just fighting against the Green Goblin. So this is also that fun thing where you could play this as a campaign. You could be like, we fought Norman Osborn, he did this, but you could basically be like, if we defeat Norman Osborn, we've done it either way. You could be like, now we have to fight just as Green Goblin. So either you've beaten him and he's like, alright, now I'm pissed and the Green Goblin, or you could be like, he won, now he's not worried about his Norman Osborn things, he just slips into madness and becomes Green Goblin. He's like, now I can take care of you. So when revealed, deal 2 encounters to each player. Force Response. After Green Goblin attacks you and damages you, place 1 threat on the main scheme. Third Goblin, deal 3 counters again. Encounter cards to each player. Place 2 threats on the main scheme. Alright, what is his scheming? He's unleashing the mutagen. Green Goblin has released a toxic mutagen gas on New York City. When complete, in player order, each player not engaged with a Goblin Minion must discard 3 cards from the encounter deck. and put the first Goblin Minion discarded engaging with them. And this is going to tell us, put a Goblin Thrall Minion into play engage with each player. You start with a Goblin Thrall already there. This one also recommends using Goblin gimmicks. So that's kind of interesting. Both of them recommend using the exact same one. Alright, so you have Mutagenic Cloud. When a Goblin creature... The Goblin creature serve Green Goblins every command. Stop Green Goblin before the monstrous militia overruns the city. X is equal to the number of Goblin enemies, including Green Goblin, in play. Oh boy, that could really suck. The cloud engulfs the city. Those unfortunate enough to be caught in the vapors begin to shiver and shift, mutating into hideous goblin creatures. Alright, what else we got here? We have a Goblin Glider, an attachment. It's a vehicle. Attaches to the enemy at the highest predicted hit points without another Goblin Glider attached. If you cannot, gain Surge. Spend 2 energy resource to discard this. Hysteria. Attached to Green Goblin. Force interrupt. When Green Goblin schemes or attacks, give him 1 additional boost card. Then, for that activation, hero resource, spend 2 genius to discard this. Pumpkin Bombs. Attached to villain. After the villain attacks, discard Pumpkin Bombs and take 2 indirect damage. Spend fists to delete that. And then now we have some minions. We have a Goblin Knight, who's a unique one. Elite Goblin. Force response. After Goblin Knight attacks, you may discard 1 card from the encounter deck. That card is a Goblin Minion. Put it in play, engage with you. And then after activation ends, shuffle this card into the encounter deck. Oh, so that's interesting. So if you play him as a boost, he goes back in there, so he's going to come back out quick. Goblin Soldier. When defeated, deal 1 damage to engaged player. Boost, put a Goblin Soldier into play engaged with you. So if you guys reveal these for the boost effects, they're going to come out and attack you. Goblin Thrall. Guard. So you guys start attached to you. Put Goblin Thrall into play engaged with you. We only got 2 of those. At least right now. There's Green Goblin again. Alright, now we gotta open up the other pack for the rest of those cards. Yes, this seems pretty. This is a minion heavy deck, which is kind of fun. Alright, so yeah, there's a bunch more Goblin Thralls. Alright, that's really where there's 6 of them total. So if you have 4 players, 4 start, the other 2 probably just go right in the deck. We have just a monster. Goblin Elite. When revealed, you're stunned. If you're already stunned, take 2 damage. After its activation ends, shuffle into the counter. Boy, these boost cards really are terrible, because they're going to help out the bad guys when they come, but then they go right back in there to get played again. Here we have some side schemes. Using the Mutagen formula and advanced combat training, Green Goblin has created an elite force of Goblin commanders. When revealed, place an additional threat here for each Goblin in play. We got 2 of those. We have Goblin Nation. We are not a game, we are so much more. We are a family, an empire, a pantheon. And I am the Goblin King. Each Goblin enemy, including Green Goblin, gains 1 attack. Boost, put Goblin Nation into play. Boost effects are gonna... Oh boy. Overrun. When defeated, each player in player order, each player must discard 2 cards from the encounter. For each Goblin Minion they discarded this way, put this in play, engage with them. And you get 2 extra acceleration? That's an overrun, alright. Treachery, death from above. Reveal, when revealed for alter ego. Green Goblin schemes with X scheme, where X is equal to the number of villain stages. Okay, so 1, 2, or 3. When it's a hero, he gains X attack equal to that. Basically, the more stronger he is, the more he'll do. I see you. When revealed, Green Goblin attacks you. If you are in alter ego form, do not give the villain a boost card for this activation. And boost. This card gets +1 boost icon if at least one Goblin Minion is engaged with you. Overconfidence. When revealed, Green Goblin schemes. If at least 3 threat was placed by this activation, this card gains Surge. When revealed, for the hero Green Goblin attacks, if at least 3 damage was dealt, this card gains Surge. And Wicked Ambition. Discard X cards from the encounter deck where X is equal to double the villain stage number. Each time a Goblin Minion is discarded, choose either take 3 damage or put that Minion into play engaged with you. Oh boy. And he's got 2 of those, and they're back to the Thralls. So that's his second deck. Boy, with all them goblins coming in, that is, that's crazy. Alright. So, both of them recommend the Goblin gimmick. So these are kind of like Green Goblin cards. So we get another Goblin Glider, which is in the 1 Goblin deck. So attach to the enemy at the highest printed attack points without another Goblin Glider. And that's why it made sense. It didn't make sense at the time to say without another when there's only 1. So you get 2 more of them. So we get more Pumpkin Bombs, which you've seen. So it's actually cool. So you're just basically adding more cards to one of those decks that already exist. Intimidation. When revealed, choose to either spend 2 resources of any type or give a villain face down boost card. Boost. Give the villain an additional boost card. And, ooh, neat. Regenerative. I like the artwork. Regenerative Healing. When revealed, this villain heals X damage where X is equal to double the number of villain stage. If no damage is healed, Surge. Boost, heal damage. This Green Goblin loves the boost cards. Alright, so that's interesting, because you could throw these in with any other characters. You could throw this in with Rhino, or Red Skull, or Taskmaster, or whoever else you're fighting against. Alright, and then if for some reason you don't want to goblin up the Goblin decks anymore, we have a couple of different modular side schemes. So we have a mess of things. Scorpion tears through the business district, causing as much mayhem as possible. When revealed, place 2 additional threats here for each stunned friendly character. And you get the Scorpion Minion. Quick Strike. After this minion engages your hero, it attacks you. Force Response. After Scorpion attacks and damages a character, stun that character. And that works with his scheme. Gang Up. Reveal. This card gains Surge. If it's the hero, villain, and each minion engaged with you attacks you. Tail Sweep. When revealed, Scorpion attacks your hero. If no attack was made this way, you are stunned. Boost, you are stunned. Oh boy, this is all about stunning. Yeah, such a little Scorpion side deck you could add. The other thing I keep saying though is I keep saying how you can add these cards to the other one. You can also do the other direction. You could add like Bomb Scare or like the MODOK Doomsday Chair to the Goblin decks as well. For something completely different. So here we have Electro with Power Drain. When defeated, discard 2 cards from each encounter deck. Each player must choose and discard 1 resource of any type from their hand this way. Okay. Discard 2 cards from the encounter. Each player must choose and discard 1 resource of any type from their hand for each boost icon discarded this way. So you used to get rid of 2 encounter cards, but you have to get rid of a bunch of resource cards. Here we have Electro, who's a criminal. After Electro attacks you, discard 1 card from the encounter deck, take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded this way. And to boost, discard 3 cards from the encounter deck. I don't know why I wants to keep discarding stuff from the encounter deck. That seems very counterintuitive, I guess. Electromagnetic Pulse. When revealed, discard 7 cards from the encounter deck. If Electro is discarded this way, put him into play and engage with you. If Electro is not discarded this way, this card gains surge. Discard 3 cards from the encounter deck. Lightning Bolt. Discard 2 cards from the encounter deck. Take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded this way. Boost, discard 3 cards from the encounter deck. I get the ones that are like discard and do damage. I just don't get this boost. It's just having you discard 3 cards. When revealed, discard 1 card from the encounter deck. The billing heals 1 damage for each boost icon discarded this way. The only thing I can think of is if they work with each other. So like if I had to discard something that says discard 2 cards and I get that boost, instead I have to discard 5. I was just seeing if the little instruction book said anything, but they just have the main 2. So that's the only thing I can think of. Interesting. And then finally we have Tombstone with Running Interference. When revealed, each player must choose to spend either Genius or Strength resources or place 2 threats here. You can't beat him until you do that. We have Tombstone, who's a criminal. Force response. After Tombstone attacks and damages you, discard a Genius or Fist from your hand if able. He does not want you to have them Genius or Fist, which I feel is kind of like a direct attack on Spider-Man. We have All Tied Up. Attach to your identity card. Attach character to not ready or change for and spend tech or resource to discard this. And Media Coverage. Attach to your identity. Resolve each when revealed ability that you reveal an additional time. Spend Genius to discard this. You got 2 of those. Yeah, see, running interference is just a hindrance, keeping you from doing other stuff. So that was our Green Goblin set. Yeah, he's very interesting. I like the, just fight against Green Goblin and his Goblin army, or you can fight against Norman Osborn, who plays it, trying to complete his scheme, plays it a little bit differently. Some interesting side schemes. I'm still not sure on this power drain, though, on how that all works. Again, the only thing I can think of is it says, like, check this one here. It just says, discard 2 cards from the encounter deck, take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discard this way. So the only thing I can think of is if I'm, because I thought only when you're revealing them, but if I have to reveal an extra card, like when this is revealed from my encounter, if I reveal a boost card to go with it, and I might have to do this and discard 3 more, so I have to discard 5. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, so that's Green Goblin. Fun, mix them in, try some different stuff. Make some hard scenarios by adding more and more things to it. Catch you guys later. Bye.